everyone, thank you for joining me. Today is the first in my 12 project series, creating 12 different projects using the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar. In my last video we went through and we opened all 12 doors and I showed you all of the wonderful product that is included. It was a complete surprise to me. I had stayed away from other people's unboxing videos and videos creating projects with the contents. And today I am bringing you my first project with this advent calendar. So we're going to be making a birthday card today. I'm going to be using the birthday wishes sentiment from the stamp set, and I'm also going to be using this little flower as well. I've mounted them on blocks ready. For my ink colour I'm going to be using Pretty in Pink. For my card base I'm going to be using some crumb cake. I've picked out this pink floral designer series paper and then this ephemera, the kind of oval shape with the gold foiling detail. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to decorate, so I have on hand the twine and both packs of embellishments, the gold sparkles and then the mixed pack, some adhesive and my trusty trimmer. So we're going to start off by cutting our card base. So I'm going to go for a standard card base, so I'm going to score at 10.5 centimetres and then rotate and cut in half, so it's going to be half a sheet of A4. Let's move my cutting blade out of the way. So scoring at 10.5 and then cutting at 14.85. And then I've got my card base for today and then a spare for another day or later. So there we go. That doesn't look like it's right. No, weird. Okay, so there's my card base ready, and then I'm going to cut down a panel of this designer series paper. So I'm going to put it this way up on my card, and I'm just going to do a half a centimetre smaller in both directions, so I'll just have a small border of that crumb cake. So I'm cutting at 10 centimetres and at 14.35. And then we're going super simple today, so I'm just going to mount that onto my card base. So I'm done with my trimmer. So I'm going to grab my Stampin seal. You don't have to use Stampin' seal, you can use whatever your preferred adhesive is. I know a lot of people like using their Tombow for this because you get a bit of wiggle room. But I find I do alright with the wiggle room with the Stampin' seal, as long as I don't put too much seal and as long as when I kind of am positioning it I don't inadvertently press it down. So that's the beginnings of our card, and then our ephemera piece here, I'm going to stamp our birthday wishes sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in full strength, Pretty in Pink, and just lining that up, giving it a good press down. Now I could have brought in my new Stampin' positioner in case I needed to stamp twice, but it has worked beautifully. And then I'm thinking that I might add a little bit of extra detail, maybe with some stamped off flowers. Let's just get the ink off those edges. So this is a brand new stamp, so let me just grab Got a scrap of white here. I must have. Yes, I do. Scrap piece of white. So I just want to test, because my ink pad is quite juicy. Okay, so if I'm aiming for that bit of my ink pad and then do second generation, so it's just going to give me a little hint of some flowers, just to add a little bit of extra detail. So just stamping off and then stamping again, and I'm kind of moving so that some of my flowers are like a little bit over the edge, and it just adds a little bit of something. I don't know how well you can see that, but in person it's just a little bit of extra detail, and I'm going to stop there because otherwise I'll do too many and then wish I'd done less. Okay, so we've got our sentiment ready there, and then I want some of my pink twine. If I can open the packet, that would be helpful. There we go. And then, so I think I'm going to do a bow. Maybe we do around the sentiment strip. Let's do that. Right, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to add a little bit of seal on the back, and then I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to stick it on there, and then I'm going to run my twine kind of along the front and then stick it behind and then bring it back. It's a little bit tricky because it's an oval, and I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing. It's a bit awkward doing it. There we go. So I'm gonna run that across 3 times. And the reason that I'm kind of doing it like I am on the back is because it just uses a bit less twine. So you could go all the way around with it, so you could kind of loop all the way around, but if you do it that way then you're saving some of your twine. Little frugal tip for you. So I've got my 3 little winds round, and then I'm going to take another bit and I'm just going to loop it underneath, and I'm going to tie a bow. Now you could tie a bow separately and then just stick it on if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter how you do it. It's a little bit fiddly. And then it's going to take me a second to do the tying because I probably didn't quite give myself enough length, but we'll get there. There we go. And then a nice tight pull. So I'm going to trim my ends so that we're nice and tidy. And then I think I'm just going to pop a little glue dot underneath where that ribbon is, the twine, where the kind of centre of the bow is, just to hold it where I want it. I have got one. I wonder if I can roll it off there. No. Oh I need to find my new roll of glue dots. Let's see. See if I can get it off without just taking the cardboard with me. Oh, yes. Yes! Did it. I need to open a new roll. So I'm just going to pop that little rolled up glue dot down, and then I can just press that on there like that. Okay, that's cute. Right, I'm going to pop that up on some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I've got a new packet. It's always exciting when there's a new packet. So I'm going to make sure that I'm popping one over where those bits of ribbon are, just as kind of an extra bit of security. And then, so I mean, I'm putting more dimensionals on here than you need to put on, and actually I could have just put a bit of tear and tape over the top of where that ribbon was, but never mind. You probably don't need 6 dimensionals on here, but it's a new packet, it's exciting. I do find, I don't know if anyone else is the same, but I do tend to use more dimensionals when I've got a new sheet. It's almost like when the sheet's partly used, I'm more frugal. You kind of think, oh, they might run out. Whereas when I've got a brand new sheet, just dimensionals everywhere. Right, so now I feel like we just need a little bit of extra sparkle, and I don't know whether I'm going to go for maybe some of these little gold flowers, or whether we go sparkly. I think the flowers. I think the sparkly are really pretty, but I think the gold flowers tie in the dots. Oh gosh, this one does not want to behave. There we go, back in the bag. So let's do a little sprinkling of these flowers. Trying to decide whether we do 3 or whether we do 5. Let's get my Tombow, and then I'm just going to kind of go in like little areas where there's less going on. There we go. One of my top tips for you, if your Tombow is being a bit tricky, give it a little test on your grid paper or a little bit of scrap. Don't kind of squeeze over your project, because when it does decide that it's going to move, what you don't want is just like a river of Tombow on your project. So just kind of a random smattering of these. I really like these, they're so pretty. So I'm not being kind of super precise about their location. Do we want one that's like, maybe we have one be that dot of the eye perhaps of wishes. I don't know if that just looks a bit weird. Maybe it looks a bit weird. Maybe it would be better if it was a round one. Okay, let's, what do we reckon down here? Yeah, I think that's the logical place for it, isn't it? Somewhere around here. There we go. It's the one thing I really struggle with. No matter how many cards I create, and how many projects I make and add embellishments, whether that's sequins or gems or whatever, I really struggle with placement. The only thing that I have kind of firm in my mind is that you want an odd number because it looks more pleasing to the eye. But yeah, I'm not the best at embellishment positioning. But there we go, that is our card for today. So this is the first in a 12 project series, and I hope that you've enjoyed today's card. I went for something that's nice and simple, but that looks really effective. So we've got our pretty designer series paper, we've done some stamping, we've done some stamping off, so we've got some sort of lighter stamping, we've got our twine, we've got our embellishments. So it's really simple, but it looks really effective. Yeah, I hope you like it too. If you've enjoyed today's video, I would love it if you would give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing to my channel and ring the bell to get notified when the next video in the series goes up, and for all future videos as well. I do genuinely do a little happy dance every time I get a new subscriber. So, you know, if you haven't subscribed already and you do subscribe, you can just know that I will have done a little happy dance because of you. So thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that you will join me again for the next in the series. So yeah, thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.